like that. How many of y'all saw that? Did y'all see that? Okay. Yeah. So basically the video was and it looks like some of you weren't hearing the audio. So let me know. Give me a yes if you can hear us now. I want to make sure everybody can hear okay. Because
Well, it looks like Instagram can hear it.
Instagram could hear, and it was YouTube and Facebook they could not hear.
Look at you boys, multiple platforms.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're just a content king.
No, I ain't no king of no content. I'm not trying to be the most popular. My goal in life is not to be the most popular person on the internet, because I realize that to be the most popular person on the internet and have the most followers, you got to be a weirdo. You got to be a weirdo or an asshole. And I don't want to be weird, and I don't want to be an asshole. Like, there are people that become popular on the internet by just saying the most idiotic, crazy, outrageous things. It has to be
extremes, right?
Yeah, I'm a scholar. I'm a scholar, and that means, as a scholar, I got to be a thinker. I can't go out here acting like a clown. Like really, if you want to get a lot of followers on the internet, if you're like a black man who wears a dress, you'll not only get a lot of followers, but you'll have $1 billion in the bank. No disrespect to Tyler Perry, of course. Tyler's cool. But at the same time, Tyler, y'all know that Tyler's $1 billion fortune, that's the house that Madea built. I mean, that's true. And if you told me that you'd give me $1 billion to go put on a dress in 10 straight movies, I don't think I'd want to do it, because the damage that's done in terms of the image of the black man is not healthy. And I think that as black people, I think it's okay for us to say that. It's okay for me to say that and still say that I think that Tyler Perry is a good guy. Like I think he's a good, because I'd met him personally. I talked to him personally. His top guy gave me a 2-hour tour of his studio, and I appreciated that. I thought that was so respectful. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say, that just means everything that you're doing is okay. And Idris Elba has the same position. Idris Elba said that he would be in the movie Daddy's Girls, but he said that he's not really interested in the other content that gets sort of produced out of that space. So I'm not really a fan of that. I believe in restoring the image of the black man. But anyway, with that said, what did you think about that video with that lady?
Well, I want to comment on something.
Oh, please go ahead.
I just want to say, you go hard in the paint with being a scholar. How about that? Let's do that extremely.
Okay, right. Okay. So what is all right? So
I want to comment to what you're saying. It's like these extremes on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Talking about how about
so as a scholar, I'm like a hardcore scholar.
Yeah.
Like a gangster scholar.
And that's okay. It doesn't, because what you were saying was that, because I called you the content king. You're a content king to me.
Oh.
Of course.
That's so nice.
You're that way to me.
Thank you. I love you.
But I'm not calling you that because of how many followers you have compared to other people, though. I'm just commenting that just based on you. Well, the work that you do.
Well, I can't complain. We've got over 500 million views. We have, if you add up our different channels, we have over 1 million subscribers. So somebody likes what we do. And also, I'm really proud of the fact that we built this ourselves. We didn't get corporate sponsorship. It wasn't like Bank of America wrote a big check or some media outlet gave us an instant platform. Like, we had to build this brick by brick. And that's something that I'm proud of, because it lets us be completely independent. Like the other day, I had Professor James Small on with Riza Islam and Maj Touré. And with each of those individual guys, I was able to dissect exactly why got men like that, black men like that, don't get invited on shows. They don't even get invited on the Breakfast Club anymore, because they shut down Charlamagne's ability to do that. Now that you have people like that are basically Democratic Party operatives. What's it, Angela Rye, that really mean lady that I met in Oklahoma, a Roland Martin type of person. But really, it's like there needs to be space for black people who are black first. Maj Touré is Black Guns Matter, so he doesn't fit under a Democrat or Republican umbrella, but he has something important to say. Black people need to at least look into gun ownership. I'm not saying everybody needs to have a gun, but that's something they need to look into. Riza Islam is a smart young brother, and I think that he needs to be heard. He definitely needs to have a louder voice than some of these idiots that they put in mainstream media. Some guy that's hooked on drugs, got 18 babies mamas, and is talking about killing other black people. They'll promote that in a minute, but won't promote intelligent black men. Do y'all think that's an accident? I don't know. Give me a yes or no in the chat. Do you think that that's an accident, or you think it's intentional that they do that? What do you think? Am I getting too militant right now?
No, I don't think so. And so I think what's so interesting is that when you first started, especially when you were on CNN and you were doing some of your other stuff, I used to talk to my dad about you a lot.
And, I love your dad. Well, let's cheer for your dad.
He's not with us anymore.
Well, he was a professor just like me. So
Yeah.
that's why you love me. You don't know that, but subconsciously you love me because your dad and I have the same profession,
Yeah.
and you have the same profession as my mother.
Yeah. So Freud would just have a fun field day
It was
with
a lady
us.
we talked to today. She said her husband was a cop. Her sister's husband was in the military. I said, I bet your father was a cop or a soldier. And
he
she
was
said,
both.
yeah. She said he was both, right? And her grandfather was. So you date your parents. That's what people. I mean, that's simple. Like you don't even have to have a degree to know that.
Well, it's familiar to you. But the one thing that my dad and
good
I
point.
would say about you, which I think distinguishes you from other people, is that you don't just deconstruct problems. Like there's so many people that get on the internet and all they do is complain, fight, argue, talk about things. You have solutions. Like you have answers. Like here's the problem, but here's the answer. You can do this. And so we always had conversations about how we like that about you. We're just not just a bunch of hot air on the internet. You said, here's what you need to do, XYZ.
Well, you know, my theory, and we are going to talk about this lady who was talking about dating.
But this is so interesting.
But no, but
I love talking about you.
I do, you know, I enjoy this conversation. Yeah, we literally just sat down and said, okay, let's test out the equipment, see how everybody's doing. But now I'm really thinking about what you're saying too. And it is one of those things where I think as Black people, because we have so much emotional, you could call it baggage, you know, because of what we've gone through. And we're easily triggered and upset, you know, and so they go hang a noose. They show a picture of a noose and they put it in our locker, and we're like, oh,
ain't
Lord,
nobody hanging.
They go kill us, y'all. And ain't nobody hanging from the noose. Didn't nobody die, but you really, you know, like so we're easily triggered. So we're very good. I noticed a long time ago that a lot of Black folks, we are in the habit of just complaining about our problems. We're not really always empowered to believe we can solve that problem. You know, I mean, because remember, complaining about a problem gives you no accountability. You know, just
remember that show, State of the Black America? Remember they would have that every once in a while.
Talking about Tavis's thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be careful because I like Tavis, and I think Tavis. I think Tavis thinks I don't like him because I did a harsh video about him way back in 2006.
Oh, he still feel it.
I bet he's still mad
upset
at me for it. But I'm gonna tell you this: I like Tavis Smiley. I think that he got wronged by PBS. He is a sharp brother, and I took his, you know, I took his place with the State of Black America panel that we did with the Fraser Net thing.
Ooh, was that what it was called?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
Lord, I didn't know that.
It was called State of Black. Yeah, someone, Julian Malvo and
it.
Mike
I missed the panel.
Yeah. But you're right though. The State of Black America panel, it does.
It did a good job of deconstructing problems.
Well, we got to be careful to not get in a holding pattern. Though.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. I don't want to be in a holding pattern. I want to eventually get out of the loop and move forward. You know, it's like being in a bad relationship. I mean, how many times you gonna complain about that son of a bitch before you gonna move on? You know, before you read writing on the wall. You know, like Maya Angelou used to say, when people tell you who they are, you need to believe them. Right, y'all been dating Joe Biden and the Democratic Party for I don't know how many decades now. So and they are disrespecting you every way that they can. So I'm the person who says, okay, let's pack our bags and go.
Well, clearly Tavis Smiley did something wrong because he had the #1 rated show on NPR when they dropped him.
Tavis was good.
What the I listened to him. Tavis,
I feel like Tavis was better than like say a Roland Martin. Roland just a little bit weird, but Roland's very hardworking, but he's very strange in terms of how he does stuff. He's very bitchy. Whereas Tavis could also be a little bit sensitive, but Tavis, I felt better watching Tavis' analysis. He sounded smarter to me. Whereas unfortunately, Roland, many people feel like he is just kind of a stooge for the Democratic Party. He just kind of says whatever the party wants him to say. Whereas, you know, I feel like Tavis is a person who tries to be Black first.
A little bit of an independent thinker.
Yeah.
But we need more of those.
And an intellectual, you know, I like Tavis. So, you know, let's clap for Tavis.
Well, he was neutralized.
Tavis gets a clap. Yeah.
What is he doing? I don't know. What is he doing nowadays?
Tavis?
I don't see him anywhere. I miss him.
Tavis,
really nice
if you're listening, hit me up. Let me know what you're doing, man.
Would you give him a platform?
I would love to give him a platform.
Am I putting you on the spot?
I would love to have him on as a guest.
You can kick me under the table
if
I'm saying too much.
I don't necessarily know what I would do with Roland Martin because I don't know what value he would necessarily add, to be honest with you. Because all he's going to do is round up Black folks to get them to go vote for the Democrats. Because I think he's trying to get a job with the whatever the next Biden administration is. I think he's always kind of wanting them to acknowledge him. Whereas I feel like with Tavis, I really feel like him and Cornel West were really trying to do what was right for Black folks. And but then again, that's probably my bias. But I just like those guys. Cornel West, one of the nicest people we've ever. Did you ever meet Cornel with me? Or did I start dating you after?
No, remember we met Cornel West together.
What did we?
Do you remember that?
You talking about 20 years ago when he didn't know who the hell we were?
He didn't know who we were. And it was interesting because you came in town and I was like, Cornel West is coming at the University of Chicago when I was a student there.
Yeah.
And we just walked on campus and we met him and everything. We stood in that long line. We had to stand in a long line.
We did. And he totally rushed me along.
He sure did.
He did not respond to anything that I said. I asked him a really deep question. And he just gave me some generic answer. He's like, "Get the hell up out of here! You got to go." No, but in fairness to him, he had a long line of people.
A long line of people. You know what that's like.
Yeah, so he only had a couple seconds. He's better than me. I'll get to talking to somebody, and then my security's got to like push me away.
I'm the one.
Or my wife.
I'm the one, and I hate doing that.
Okay, Suge Knight.
I do feel like Suge Knight. I hate doing that, but people are always like very respectful of me. But I do not like being in that position where I'm saying, okay, you need to wrap this up. Get to the point and move on.
Come on, boys.
Other people
come on, boys. Come on, boys. Yeah, well, so when I got to know Cornel like directly, like it's funny, I met like Cornel or Julianne Malveaux, people like that. I met them before they knew who I was, but then I met them after they knew who I was. And I found Cornel was just one of the most genuine people ever. Like, he's as far from a capitalist as you can be. He's more Marxist, I would say, but he probably has a more precise way of defining his ideology. But I listen to him because I respect Marxism. Like, if you really study Marxism, they had a lot of good ideas and they had a really valid critique of capitalism. I have the same critique. The problem for Marxism and socialism, all to me, is I don't necessarily see a presentable alternative that we can embrace. Like, I think Black folks, I don't think we need to go in acting like money is always evil and that business owners are bad and that that the only thing that matters are labor rights, but not the rights of people that are actually trying to start companies, because I don't think Black folks are built that way. I think Black people need economic power for us to be able to succeed and be free.
Yeah, I think whenever you start saying that money is evil, anything that you criticize is going to run from you.
Exactly.
So if you say I hate money and money is something I just despise rich people, you'll never be rich. A rich person.
Now you're talking metaphysical, right there. That's some that's some metaphysics right there.
It is metaphysics, but that's just how it is. You what you despise runs away from you. And I talk about that with my couples. I wish I can sit many of them down. The couples that I talk to, is just to say, stop thinking all these awful things about each other. See the glass is half full, change that around to something positive. And it's very difficult to do when you've been living years and years of a lot of resentment.
That's so true.
Anyway.
Well, by the way, let me tell everybody what you're listening to. It probably sounds
we need to get to the topic.
We really do, but you know what? We have some.
Sorry.
No, but I enjoy talking to you. It's always interesting.
Like, all these people in here, and they're really expecting us to talk about the
topic.
topic.
I think that they're here because they like intelligent conversations. I don't know why y'all here. Y'all tell us why you're here. But anyway, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and my wife is Dr. Alicia Watkins. She is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, and sees couples and families on a regular basis. I am a finance professor. So if you actually have an interest in things related to love and money, things like that, you can actually go to boyceandalicia.com. We have free stuff. I have a book called Financial Lovemaking that you can have for free at boyceandalicia.com. Also, you can get lots of free stuff from Dr. Alicia on things like financial infidelity, financial trauma, financial anxiety, all these things that we experience as Black people, as well as the issues that affect us in our relationships and our families. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Dr. Alicia's site is coachingwithdralicia.com. So let's jump into this thing with this beautiful dark-skinned sister who, I put this up on Instagram, and because I just thought it was interesting. She went out of her way to announce that she said, I'm dating out of my race. I need everybody to know. She's like, I need everybody to know, and she's like, I need everybody to know that that Black men done piss me off and I'm going to start dating out of my race. Now, I had to admit, my first thought was, why are you telling everybody? I'd like to ask the therapist, what do you think was going on inside her soul that made her feel like I got to do an Instagram video about it? Why didn't she just, do her? Like, why does she have to tell everybody?
There's a lot of people who come to specific realizations and insights and aha moments, and they need to capture that moment. And they're just like, you know what? She's probably thinking, I'm having this kind of experience. I'm going to put it out there and she's going to just see how it resonates with other people. She's looking for her tribe. And so she's out there. I'm sure there's a lot of people who've hit her up and said, girl, I know I'm in the same boat as you. And I hope that maybe she's found that for herself. But I have a feeling that that people do that. They got something that's weighing heavy on them. It's on their chest and they feel like they got to get it off. And anybody with a thought in the telephone can basically just convey how they feel and just put it on out there. And she's probably very happy that she's doing it. Why? Because me and you, we're sitting here talking about it right now.
Oh,
and how many views did it get on your social media?
Oh, I think it got 60, 70,000 views just on one of my platforms. On the other pages, it might have gotten, even more. But I think you're right. I know she was very animated and everything else. And I think that she was, a part of me felt like, okay, are you trying to, like you mentioned, find your tribe? Are you trying to build a tribe? Are you trying to make this a movement? It's one thing if you make a choice that's personal and you change your philosophy on something. Like if I decide I'm going to eat more salad instead of cheeseburgers, that's just my choice, right? That's going to affect my body. But then if I get online and say, hey, y'all, I'm eating salads now instead of cheeseburgers, and I want y'all to do what I'm doing, or I'm a vegan now, that's something more. That's almost like maybe you're right. Maybe I need that extra validation. I want those people to cheer me on. I don't want people to abandon me, right? Because I think that there was that fear she has of like people saying, okay, because you're with a white man or whatever man you're with, you can't be pro-black. So maybe some insecurity underlie that. What do you think?
Well, she thinks that she's articulating something that's probably echoed in a lot of people. So it'd be cool. She may follow up with she done found her a white man. I mean, there are a lot of white men who really love and will date a black woman.
Right.
There's a ton.
But they
of all shades. Every time I go to Los Angeles, there is a white man trying to talk to me. Stop. Wait, why are you doing that? Don't be doing that to me.
I ain't trying to hear all that. Everybody, let's just stop for a moment and let's just celebrate the greatness of black men. Everybody in the chat, cheer for black men. Everybody talk about, tell us what's great about black men. We are better than the competition. We win in every category because size matters, brains matters, survival skill matters. Come on, ain't nothing in this earth like a black man. That's why y'all hooked on us. And ain't nothing like a black woman either.
I'm hooked on you though.
And I'm hooked on you too, baby.
Yeah.
I think
that's real talk though.
You the most gorgeous thing ever. So my thought is it's a satisfying.
Oh really? No, you got my lipstick.
Oh,
my lipstick will be on you.
So seriously though, I really just think black people. I'm a fan. I'm not really here to diss this lady, right? I think that she's going through something. I didn't like the necessity of having to announce it. Like I have people in my family that have interracial relationships. My goddaughter is married to a guy from Denmark and he's the nicest guy in the world. And I want her to be happy. That's it. And I don't choose who people in my family date. And I never told her like, how dare you? It wasn't like that. It was like, make sure you get a man that treats you well. And I'll be honest, I would rather have my daughter dating a man who's not black, who treats her well, than have her date a black man who treats her like shit.
I will say,
I'm sorry. I have no respect for a man who, if a man's abusing you or hurting you constantly and all that, I'm sorry. I think that's where, you find you a better black man at the very least. That's my 2 cents.
I'm going to say something. I mean, I'm not talking about your goddaughter or anything. All of that aside, I do wonder about the psychology of people who only date outside their race. Like, what's going on? Like, is there some level of self-hatred or is there like some level of compensating for something, that maybe you're looking at, like, just because, there's people in my family who date outside their race. But I do think that some of them, just based on what I know about them, I'd be like, I ain't surprised. Not surprised. Yep. I don't want,
Yeah.
But I can say that about, my family members.
That's being the Black Dr. Fauci for today. I'm going to say that jungle fever typically shows symptoms early on that may be quite dormant initially. And but in all seriousness though, like I feel like, you're right. I mean, there are some people who just, you know, like that song, wake up and suddenly you're in love, right? They just meet somebody who's not black and it just happens and whatever, right? But then there's some people where they're choosing in a certain way that just happens to,
They're gonna.
yeah, it happens to be almost like a type of systematic racism that they employ in their dating choices.
They're internalizing it.
Yeah, it's like banks, when banks discriminate against black people and they say, well, we don't even know this race. But then you look at their criteria for how they're deciding who to give loans to. It just happens that the black people all don't qualify, you know. And I think that it's the same way with dating. I mean, I think
they haven't come to terms with some things going on within them.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's some issues.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you see blackness as a premium, you know, like you had a great black mother or a great black father, and you want to replicate that, then you're going to keep seeking that out, right? Like if one black man disappoints you, you're just going to find a black man who doesn't disappoint you. You're not going to say, it's like supporting a black owned business. Like if I fundamentally believe that white businesses are better, then the first time a black owned business upsets me, I'm going to say, see, that's why I buy from white people. You
remind me of like Uncle Ruckus was it Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks?
Really?
You know what? You're making fun of. Is that his name?
How the hell are you gonna call me Uncle Ruckus?
No, I didn't say you were. I'm saying that there are some people who just remind me of that. Like what you're saying. What you are saying is reminding me of Uncle Ruckus and some of the things Uncle Ruckus would say in Boondocks. It's hilarious.
I wouldn't. I don't. Oh, you're saying I'm reminding you.
What you're saying.
Oh God. Okay.
God.
I thought you were saying I sounded. No. I thought you were saying I sound like Uncle Ruckus. No. I was like, damn, that was mean. I get it now. I get it now. I get it now. We do have some Uncle Ruckuses out here, right? and I think, you know, and I think that here's the thing, right? I think that your choice in terms of what kind of black identity you want to have is certainly up to the individual. Like I used to say, you know, when I would go on this very same platform 8 years ago, I said, look, I don't know if I'm ever going to get married. I'm not going to let anybody make me do it. But if I get married, I'm going to marry a black woman because I would not feel comfortable doing what I do with my white wife sitting next to me. It's no disrespect to anybody. It would just make me feel like I bailed out on the black woman. I felt like it was my job as a black man, if I chose to get married, to keep seeking until I found a black woman that was a good fit for me, right? And but I think that the calculus is different for women than it is for men, because I think dating for women, especially in your 40s, is or over 35, I think it's a different experience than it is for men. I really believe that.
Well, how about the fact that, I mean, we're talking about colorism is really what she's talking about too. That's another.
Let's talk about that.
Colorism. I don't know. I find issue with people who walk around and say colorism isn't a thing. Like, really? Like, it has to be. How could it not be?
Coming from my light-skinned wife.
Yeah, I understand, you know, that colorism, it is real. You know, I just know it is based on my own personal experiences. I think if you're lighter, you do get different privileges.
Well, and
I'm not for it at all.
Well, you and I have talked about how our experiences in academia were different, with me being a black man and you being a light-skinned black woman.
Yeah.
You know, like your campus doesn't even have a single African-American faculty member on it, a African-American male, right? No. Yeah, they don't even hire any black men, you know, from so it is a different experience. And I think that the colorism piece, here's the thing. I hear what she's saying about the colorism, right? We know it's real. But every black man doesn't think that way. And that lady was not an ugly lady. She was gorgeous.
Wasn't she sharp?
Right. I would get it. Lady. I would get it if it was like remember what was that lady, Leslie Jones? I'm not making fun of her. I promise I'm not making fun of her. I'm not making fun of Leslie Jones. I'm not. But Leslie, she you know, her and Leslie are in different categories. Let's say for a lot of men, if you ask them,
Leslie Jones looks a little masculine.
Yeah, Leslie Jones. Maybe we shouldn't talk about Leslie.
Maybe I don't know. It's how she.
But generally speaking, if she were an average or below average looking woman, I could understand that colorism piece. But she was a gorgeous woman. This lady was beautiful. So to me, I think honestly, I'm sorry.
Oh, do you think she's not taking accountability for some things that she's doing to turn men off?
I think
that maybe she's just saying, "Oh, it's because I'm dark," and maybe that's not it.
She said stuff in the video that turned me off.
Oh, she turned you off.
She said stuff in the video that if I was a man thinking about dating her, I wouldn't do it because one thing.
Can you play the video?
I can't play the video
Oh,
now because I don't have it loaded in the system, but it's on
okay.
my Instagram. My Instagram is the Real Boyce Watkins. Everybody can watch it there. But there's a point in the video, if you listen carefully, there's a point in the video where she says something like, I teach black men about colorism. I teach black men about this. I teach black men about that.
Mm.
Don't nobody need nobody who's wagging their finger in your face, constantly teaching you stuff. What are you learning from black men? What are you learning? Like, do you think you know everything? Like, you're always the teacher? Don't nobody, maybe that's what's making you a black man repellent, because nobody wants to hear somebody always up in their face. Well, I educated you on this. I taught you about that. No, so to me, the fact that she was such a pretty lady talking about, I can't get no black man to want to be interested in me, that's just not accurate. I'm sure there's a long list of men who would have a lot of interesting stories to share about why they passed on the opportunity to be with this gorgeous woman. Colorism make that strong to keep a woman that pretty from being single.
Yeah, I think when you feel like you need to teach somebody something, it's like you're coming to them as if you're better than them. So maybe she's just looking down on somebody like, I know, but you don't know. It's a little bit insulting. It's like, excuse me, maybe she's read the situation wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe some of her ideas come from, because I know a lot of women, who as children, things are different now than they were back in the day. But looking at how old she is, I wonder if she was a little girl in grade school and got treated differently, clearly because of her color, which happens a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I can see that.
So maybe she's just wearing some of that from the past, and how could it not affect how you deal with things now?
I don't know how old she is, but I do know there was a time maybe in the 80s. Does anybody old enough to remember, like, maybe in the 80s when they used to openly make fun of dark-skinned people? And they would have your mama jokes about your mama so black that blah 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 blah, that she can't go out at night, or just silly little horrible jokes like that, right? And what I like is that the community kind of grew out of that. Like, we grew out of this terrible language, and if you really go back a couple of generations, I mean, I heard stories from the grandparents and stuff about the privilege of light skin, and how the whiter you are, the better you were treated by society, and the better you felt like you were. And this is not just in the US, this is all around the world. This is part of the reason the Hutus and the Tutsis were slaughtering each other in Rwanda. If you go to India, they have a whole caste system where the darkest people are at the bottom. And this is still true. Like, Barack Obama could not have been president if he were dark, right, sure. Old black Obama, or black Obama, right? Or Obama, Barack Black. I don't know. I'm trying to make
he came across like he didn't come across as very threatening.
Yeah, well, he's half white.
Yeah, right. Of course, and they didn't let us forget the fact that he was half white. Like, he for sure, he was for sure. I mean, I don't know. I think if Michelle kind of kept him a little black.
Well, yeah. Well, I think Michelle saved him.
She's a real sister, I think.
Well, Michelle's what got him the black vote, because the beginning of Obama's presidency, the biggest problem that they had was that they could not get black people to support him. Black people they were all going to vote for Hillary. And Cornel West told me that they had a meeting in some hotel room with him, Jesse Jackson Jr., David Axelrod, Barack Obama, and somebody else. And the big thing they were trying to figure out was, how do we get black people to vote for Obama?
He was not relatable to black people because he was an academic in a way. He was like a scholar, not that black people wouldn't identify with that, but I think he came off as a little too kind of out of touch, which, by the way, some of the decisions he made in his presidency showed that he was a little out of touch to me.
Well,
he was out of touch to me on a lot of issues.
I felt like he was a masterful president. I just feel like he was a good white president. He was just, except he was a little darker, a little blacker. He was like Bill Clinton 2.0, in my opinion.
In what way? What do you mean?
I mean, like, Bill Clinton was the cool white guy who played the trombone and had sex with black girls.
Oh, well, he played the saxophone, and that was because he, a saxophone player in the mind of a black, again, trying to get the black vote, Did he get on Arsenio Hall show and play that saxophone? Yeah,
with,
that
with
was
some
his
sunglasses on.
that was his strategy of trying to get the black vote. Let me show, and it worked. It worked for me because I voted for him.
Well, you know what? I was gonna vote for Bill Clinton, and
What
I
happened?
remember there was all this excitement about him and all that. And this was part of my political awakening. I was like a college student. I was a junior, and I had to get to my job. I worked at Arby's, and I was late for work. And I was on my bike, and I was riding right past. My bike was going right past the voting station. And I remember thinking, okay, I don't know if I have time to get off my bike and go vote and still get to work on time. And I remember thinking, if I lose my job and I can't pay my rent, Bill Clinton
Clinton ain't
is
gonna
not
save
going
you.
to write me no check. He's not going to come pay my bills. So I just, ended
You
up,
skipped it.
I went to work. And that was the beginning of my years of being a political asshole. Right?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, with me, it was so important because I just turned 18.
That's a big deal.
It was the very first time I voted. That was
Okay.
a big deal for me. I
Okay.
took pride in that. I voted for the person that won, and that really was like a big deal to me back in my 18-year-old self.
Okay, that's cool. That's nice. I mean, I think. Why are you laughing?
It's true. 18-year-old self.
Yeah. By the way, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. If you'd like to learn more, we love to do things, particularly in love and money categories. That's what our doctorates are in. So if you want to get better in either one of those areas, just go to boyceandalicia.com. We have lots of free stuff and free ebooks and stuff you can download. So feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com. Hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, and make sure we stay connected. So let's finish up with this. The lady who felt the need to announce that she was going to date outside her race. I felt there was something about the video I didn't feel comfortable with.
Oh, what was it?
Well, first of all, again, just feeling like you got to announce it. I don't think that's necessary. If you're going to do it, I'm not going to get mad at you. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I wouldn't do it, but everybody has their own choice. I don't like the narratives that come when it comes from men or women. When you get to the point like, I'm going to make this personal decision to date outside my race because black women don't do blah, or because black men are too blah. Stop that. Stop that generalization. That's the, so the same way, I mean, imagine a black man saying, I date snow bunnies now because, these women out here, blah, blah, blah. And you see a lot of that. You saw a lot of men as well, just like the women, that were not taking accountability. Your relationship situations are not working out. And you're trying to somehow put it all off on the whole other gender instead of taking some accountability for yourself. And I tell everybody in here listening, always be aware of the person who is always the victim. Like, always beware of the person where every story they tell you always ends up
it ain't never them.
Right.
It ain't never you. You couldn't have contributed to that problem.
My problem is that I'm just too nice.
All these people.
And I give away too much. And I be being too nice to these women. And then man,
and half of these people, I bet if you talk to them, they'll be like, oh, let me tell you what really happened. They'll be like, what did they tell you? Oh, left out this part. That's what they do. They leave out the part where they're culpable. They twist that story around to make themselves look like the poor little victim in every situation.
Yeah, well, I think that what will happen is, like, if you challenge them on that and you say, but wait a minute, but you slapped her, and that's why she left. The person will make a reason why they did what they did. Well, I wouldn't have done it if they had not done this to me. Right. Or you say,
still no accountability.
You went in his bank account and took all his money. You took his kids away. You destroyed this man. Well, I wouldn't have done it if he hadn't done this. I think that there has to be a line. Like, you have to draw a red line on your own behavior. You have to draw a line where, when you get tested, when somebody's engaging in what I call extreme niggatry, just this behavior that's just beneath you, you got to decide, okay, am I going to keep going down in the gutter with you, or am I going to maintain some sort of dignity so I can walk away and at least say that I was a decent person. I didn't need compensation for that. I didn't need you to be nice to me for me to be nice to you. And I think that's a good principle. I mean, sometimes even when Christianity's taught the right way, it teaches that. Now we call that stupid. Oh, you're stupid if you're nice to somebody who's mean to you. You should go slap them. You should get revenge or whatever. But I actually like the concept of forgiveness as long as it's not too costly to do so, right?
Well,
You can forgive and walk away.
yeah.
And I mentioned this, and I just finished, and I'll say with this, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. But I can still remember, years ago, being hurt really badly by a woman who did some stuff that I thought was pretty mean, pretty toxic. She was very upset, and I remember I just hit my red line, and I remember deciding at that moment, I'm not going to allow what you have done to shape how I respond from this point on. From this point on, I'm going to walk away and I'm going to maintain my dignity. And for the rest of my life, I'll be able to say that I was a good person, that I did my best to not that I didn't make any mistakes, but that I did my best to be a good person.
Yeah, I mean, there are two things I wanted to bring out.
Okay.
First of all, I mean, you talked about, how come you're always the victim of things over and over again? And the thing is that when you keep having these same experiences in your life over and over again, you need to step back and look at the patterns. Like, why is all of this happening to me? Because it's not happening to everybody else. So the thing is, you have to look at this pattern and say, where am I missing it? Like, what signs or signals are coming down the pipe that I'm not even paying attention to? And you
Okay.
have to kind of look at those patterns and figure out how to respond in a do something different, and you'll get different results.
Wow.
And so also the thing about forgiveness is that you want to forgive, but you don't want to be a doormat to people, right? So the thing is, you don't want to be passive when you're dealing with individuals, when you're trying to set boundaries. Basically, I think that's what forgiveness. Someone keeps doing things to you that's undesirable, you have to set a boundary with that person. And then and at the same time, you don't want to be aggressive where you're just lashing out at somebody and being mean at them. You have to be assertive. You're just saying, okay, listen, this conversation is going where it doesn't need to go, or I'm not comfortable loaning you that amount of money. That's not my policy. I understand that you're in a tight bond. I can give you this amount of money, but I don't loan out this amount of money. So it's like setting boundaries and being okay with that. Like, don't feel bad for setting boundaries and doing things that you're comfortable with. You're nobody's doormat. And if they do something wrong for you, they've shown you who they are. So, forgiveness, you can forgive yourself. And that's really the only type of forgiveness that there is. And really, you don't need to forgive anybody because the forgiveness is done anyway, but on some level. But yeah, I mean, you pretty soon you're going to end up being very resentful and very hateful and feel taken advantage of if you just have this stance from I'm just going to let you walk all over me.
Well, there we go.
Right?
Shout out to everybody who's not a doormat. All the non-doormats in the building. There we go. All right. So,
and if you have to lose a relationship because you're putting up boundaries, that person doesn't love you.
Okay.
That person was never there for you. Those are people who are just out just to get what they can from you.
Okay. The real Ness says, "Don't catch monkeypox."
Man, that monkeypox ain't no joke. Have you seen pictures of monkeypox?
I've seen them a couple times.
It is gross.
Ugh.
That's something I would.
Yeah.
But you have to have contact with someone with monkeypox. It's not airborne, right?
No, yeah, it's not airborne.
Okay, I feel a little better about that. Like, get away from me.
Yeah, it is something.
It's like, don't touch me. You could have monkeypox.
We live in a crazy world. That's
but you
for
could
sure.
see like I could see if you had monkeypox and then you just rub your monkeypox on me. That's like it's spreading. Like, we live in Illinois. Illinois is like a big deal here.
Monkeypox?
Yes.
Monkeypox is a big deal in Illinois?
Yeah, I think Illinois, California, and New York or something like that.
God.
It's like it's a problem. Public health, people in the public health field, I feel sorry for them. They're just like losing their mind because all of us are sitting there and we're not even taking anything seriously. Really. We're just like, they're like, it's almost like don't look up.
Yeah,
we're just laughing at everything.
Well, what can you say?
They're like going crazy because we're like, monkeypox.
Well, there's times like that make you glad you're married. So anyway, everybody, you listen to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And I haven't, if you don't know about it, if you don't know now, the All Black National Convention is coming up very, very soon. The convention is the ultimate gathering spot of all the B1 people in America and around the world who believe in putting Black first, who believe in building our families, who believe in building our wealth, who want our people to succeed. I have some links, voicewatkins.com. You can go to, if you're on Instagram, you can hit the link in the bio, and you can actually either buy tickets for your family or your children, or you can also become a vendor or a sponsor. If you become a vendor, you get to sell there. There are lots of people there that are ready to buy black. They will buy your products. People make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars when they go there. But then also, if you're a sponsor, not only will you be able to sell your products, but we will blast you out on our platform. We have over 1 million subscribers on different platforms, and I will make sure that everybody knows about your business, because I reach a few people all around the world. So if you are interested in coming to the convention, it's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th through the 30th. I'm going to be doing some teaching on investing and stocks and bonds and things like that. My wife is going to do speed dating, and we're going to have panels on politics, relationships, things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Am I doing a talk? Am I talking?
I don't remember. You got to check the schedule, baby.
I do. I need to.
Talk to the team.
Okay, I need to. I'm gonna be a vendor. I buy my vendor spots.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I purchase them. I'm not trying to get any special. No, y'all don't know. I actually last year I bought my spot. Well, I purchased that vendor spot. I paid top dollar for that.
Well, you will always get preferential treatment in my book. So I hope you'll join us at the All Black National Convention. It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th through the 30th. And you can go to voicewatkins.com if you want to be a vendor or sponsor, or if you want to just get a ticket and come on out. So anyway, everybody, we're about to head on out. And if you want to follow Alicia and learn more about what she does with couples and families and things like that, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com or follow her on Instagram at coachingwithdralicia. So God bless you guys. It was real. We had a lot of fun, and we're going to play some corny outro music because we got this new equipment. We're super excited.
I do not like this song.
I know you don't like it. You don't like it.
This is awful.
You don't like it.
This hurts my ears. Please.
Bye, everybody.
I can't dance to this.
Have a good night, everybody. Let's see.